Hi. Hi, everyone. I'm April Kelly. I'm a tarot advisor, and I'm here today excited because this past Tuesday, I looked at what a love tarot reading would be. And today I'm going to look at something a little different, still about relationships, right? Which was in the title of my life here, but more about friendships, not the romantic relationship, basically, which is great. I'm excited because honestly, I feel that once we find that person, our companion, our life companion, husband, whatever you want to call that person, it's amazing, and they have their role in your life takes on one of the most important of your life, right? But other than the romantic relationship, which is very, very important, we have friendships with, friends that we get to choose to be in our life, with family members, with our kids. There's so many other relationships that we have in our lives. Professional relationships, we have um, study relationships, right? If you're in your studies. So there's many, many kinds. Today, I want to address more like friendships and in the different circumstances, whether they be in family, whether it be a friend you got to choose, and whatnot. So I'm going to be using the Light Seer Tarot as always. And yeah, let's jump in. So, first, before I start, any relationship, and this is something that I will say many times, and I've said it a few times already in my other lives, in my other videos, any relationship that that I'm in, starts with me. Any relationship. And the reason why that is so important for me to point out is that if my relationship with myself is not healthy, not balanced, then it can't really be healthy and balanced with anyone else. Now, it doesn't mean that you don't love that person. It doesn't mean that you can't love that person. It just means that there will unfortunately be unhealthy dynamics, whether they're subtle or less subtle, because anything and everything starts with ourselves. The way we do one thing is the way we do everything, right? And so I'm just kind of pointing this out so that we kind of set the tone, right, for my reading here. I'm going to be doing 3 or 4 cards. I'll see what I feel like pulling for you, what I feel guided to. And yeah, without any further ado. So I'm going to mix these up just a little bit. All right. So all right, so card number 1. All right. Card number 2. Yeah, let's do 4 cards. I feel 4 cards. It's very strong. 4 cards. Okay. 3. There will be future readings that you will only be able to see my hands. I just need to get myself that webcam that I've been looking for, and my readings will change a little bit. My lives will change a little bit. You'll be seeing the cards in my hands, and then sometimes you'll see me, and depending on what I feel guided to do. All right, last card. All right. So let's put the deck aside and let's jump right in. Oh, a card that comes back. I did a reading recently, and did it come up in one of my videos? I don't remember if it was in a reading with a client or in one of my lives, but the Strength card. Now, no, it was a reading with a client. It just hit me. So I love the Strength card. Once again, this is part of the Major Arcana, which is kind of important to know. Remember, I have a video about the Major Arcana for those of you that would like to know a little bit more about what the Major Arcana is in the tarot deck. And I also have a Minor Arcana, which the tarot deck is technically split into 2. Has 2 parts to it, if you more appropriately said. And yes, so if you would like to know more about that, I have other videos that I've already put up and you can check them out. So here's the strength card. Now, the strength card is really interesting because as you can see, there's the wild side, the little bit less subdued, more fiery side, and then you have the peaceful, full of beauty, full of allowing side. And when I say allowing, I mean, the more spiritual feminine side, and I guess there's the masculine and feminine in this, but in a really balanced way, which is beautiful, right? We kind of all want that beautiful balance, right? But a balance for us, right? My balance is not the same as your balance. Anyway, so what can this mean in a relationship? Well, sometimes in friendships or any kind of relationship, but let's take the emphasis away from romantic here. So any kind of relationship will have its ups and downs. The role of each person in the friendship or relationship will be different, right? Because they're two different individuals. But it's important to have the give and take, not just the, oh, I'm so used to giving and no, I don't need anything. That's not very balanced. Having something that's a lot more one hand open to receive and one hand right close to give or ready to give is so very important in a relationship. Then there's the good old trusted respect, love, and integrity that I will always bring up. These are the values with which I live by. And anytime I've coached anyone, anytime I've done a tarot reading for anyone, it's always love, respect, and integrity. And that doesn't change in this one. So just to give a last little bit about this card, it can also be sometimes in a friendship, there's, things are new. We're still figuring out, who we are to each other, what we, ironing out, the fun bits, but sometimes it's not as fun. It can be a little awkward. You have to put a personal boundary down. This card will, represents that you need to have the strength to be able to establish a strong foundation in the or the relationship that you're trying to establish. So, card number 2. Oh, yes, 3 Pentacles, Minor Arcana card. Pentacles is represented by Earth. So this is very much a corporation working together on something beautiful. So sometimes, once again, Pentacles is a little bit more in our minds. Things are going on. We put them into action, but they happen in our minds first, right? And so coming together in the friendship and supporting each other in the way that each other needs, right? But how do you support the other person in the way that they need? Well, you ask those really simple but powerful questions. How can I support you? What is it that you need? Is there anything I can do to help? Or is, how can I best, I guess the word is support you, And so the reason that's so very important is that when you support the person in the way that they need, I take myself out of the equation and I'm focusing on the other person instead of trying to fix them. Okay, a lot of people try and fix the other person, but that's not supporting someone. That's trying to do what you think is best for the person instead of listening to what they actually need and supporting them in that way. Now, it doesn't mean that we're always going to agree with each other. It doesn't mean that this, even if we're working together and supporting each other, and whether it could be a professional friendship as well, you're working together, working towards the same goals and whatnot, but it doesn't mean that you're always going to get along. And I think that goes for anyone, any kind of relationship, but being able to have the flexibility to allow the person to be whoever they are with their needs so that you can have that same freedom. All right. So card number 3, King of Wands. Now, Wands is the fire, our passion, sometimes a little rash, but not, usually it really is just something we're passionate about, that we really believe in, or that really, that comes from our heart and comes from our values, right? And so we have a King of Wands here. It's a court card. Now, in the minor arcana, we have the court cards, which are Page, Knight, Queen, and King. And this guy is the king of the court cards in the minor arcana of the Wands suit of the minor arcana. So if we look here, he's very confident. You have the lion in back, which usually represents courage and strength. You'll have, he has that wand in his hand that has, if you look, it's a crown of fire. Okay, once again, pentacles, wands is fire, right? And so that's very appropriate, a crown of fire. And it means that often, one of the things it can mean in friendship is that we need to make sure that we encourage and support the dreams and the goals and all of let's say I'm trying to reach, or I'd like to do something, or still figuring things out. The way to support me is to believe in me. And then if I am asking for advice, right, it'll be, okay, let's hear it. Throw it at me, and then kind of, as they say, throw it at the wall and see what sticks. Sometimes just being that sounding board, right, being able to receive what that person has to say, and then you can give the feedback and kind of ask a few questions to get a bit more clarity, to be able to support them in the way that you can, as best as you can. And so the King of Wands here is being that strong, supportive, loving, but also being able to get a little bit uncomfortable and not necessarily saying what the person wants to hear. Saying what they probably more like need to hear can really be one of the strong points of the king. The king is there in every way, including the uncomfortable, vulnerable ways. All right, so the last card that I'm going to be looking at with you, Ace of Swords. Now, swords is that, remember, swords is air. And it's that suit that, it's everyday. Once again, minor arcana, as a reminder, is for everyday life. Okay, whereas the major arcana, like the strength card, it's more general in our life, a little bit more addressing the seasons and the different parts of our life. Okay, so minor arcana, everyday life. Now, swords is the, career, money, material belongings, house, home, stuff like that. Very much, our earthly, the physical world today. And so we have the ace. Now the ace is the beginning of a journey, just like pentacles is still kind of not quite the beginning, but getting there, right? And so the ace is the beginning of something, okay? As you can see, things are in the mind. We're trying to, I think this will represent more the beginning of a friendship or the beginning of a relationship. Or if it's not the beginning of the friendship or relationship, it'll be the beginning of something, like maybe a different, something in the relationship has changed and it's new, and there has to be like, just a little bit of adapting and being flexible. So we have, what I love here is you see the stairs. It's a process, and you have to go down each stair. You can't, even if you jump over a stair, you're taking a risk, you can hurt yourself, right? And so when you take your time and you go down each stair so what can that represent? That can represent take your time, get to know the person, have talks, go do things together. How do you build a solid relationship? Well, you learn to get to know each other, but to trust each other, to love each other, to respect each other, to be in integrity with each other. And so here, it starts in the mind, but it needs to be put into action, like right away. No, don't dwell on it too long. Don't get up in our head too much. Fall back down into our heart space and just try, explore, allow things to be messy, just figure it out. In a relationship, that's the best ways, allowing the other person to have the freedom to kind of figure it out. They don't know you, you don't know them, and you kind of just got to go with the flow. And having the flexibility to do that and take all pride out of it. There's, whatever the fears are, you can voice it, say it to the person. I'm less comfortable because of this. And yeah, I don't know this, or this makes me uncomfortable because of a past experience, or being candid and transparent with the person, being vulnerable really allows people to get to know each other. And if you're strong and solid in who you are and your safe space is here, you don't need the other person to hold a safe space for that vulnerability, because you are your own safe space, and you being vulnerable is something that you can be okay with, whether the person receives it well or not, because this is where your strength is, not outside of yourself. So there you go. Yeah, I could go on for a long time in relationships, but I don't want to go on too long. The one thing I will close with is the foundation of any relationship needs to be love, respect, and integrity. And when someone says no, it's no. You can debate a little bit, but if they allow that to happen, if they say no is no, then that's it. A lot of people have a hard time with that. But personal boundaries are absolutely key in a friendship or any kind of relationship. You have to be able to say no and yes, and you have to be able to be respected in that, no matter what that no or yes is. A maybe is usually no. Just kind of saying, throwing it out there. So I hope that you enjoyed this video. It's shorter. I'm really glad it's shorter, because a few of my videos have been much longer, and I'm hoping to, keep them a little bit shorter, just for the sake of content, and so that you guys can come on here and listen without having to sit in front of your screen for 30 minutes. So if you like my content and you appreciate the subjects that I address and the kind of sharing and naturally with what I do, please like and subscribe on my YouTube channel. Always appreciated so very much. Anyone that would like more information about a tarot reading with me, please don't hesitate. I have social media accounts on my social media accounts on Twitter, Pinterest, Instagram, and of course here on YouTube is Darkness and Light Tarot. Now, if you search for my videos on YouTube with the title of the video, it's a lot easier to find with Darkness and Light Tarot and then the title of the video. And then on Facebook, it's April Kelly, but you can still find me under Darkness and Light Tarot on Facebook as well. So I hope you enjoyed this video today. It was such a pleasure to be here with you. Take care. This is April Kelly, your tarot advisor. Bye.